Hello, hello, and welcome. Let me know if you can see me. Let me know if you can hear me. And I believe we are live. Let me know if you can see me. Let me know if you can hear me. We're trying a different platform today. So this is episode 8 on the Manifesting Miracles show. And we're going to go live on Instagram as well. So type in the comments, because we're on live on Facebook. So at Andrea Lang on Facebook. We're live in the Manifesting Miracles Facebook group. We're live on YouTube at Andrea Lang Official. And we're also going to go live on Instagram. So we're going live in all these different places. We're trying something new today. Let me know how my sound is. And let's jump into episode 8 of the Manifesting Miracles show. Reprogramming your subconscious mind to come into alignment with your conscious mind. So that's what today's episode will be about. And let's see if I can read some of your comments here. So let me know. Type excited. If you're excited in the comments, type excited. All right, and we're live on Instagram. So now we are officially live in all the places. We're live on Instagram. Manifesting Miracles, episode 8. Reprogramming your subconscious mind is one of the greatest things you can do for consciously creating the reality you want as adult version you in this now moment. Otherwise, what happens here is we recreate subconsciously the experience of our childhood because the subconscious mind is developed age 0 to 7. So until I reprogram, until I change the limiting beliefs, the paradigm of Andrea when I was 0 to 7, whatever I believed, whatever I experienced, whatever I witnessed, whatever I downloaded. Because remember, when your subconscious mind is being developed, age 0 to 7, you're in a hypnosis brainwave. You're in a theta brainwave. So what that means is that you're literally just downloading everything that you're witnessing, everything that you're learning. There's no analytical process here. So there's no analytics. So you don't have that ability when you're a child to say this is for me, this is not for me. This is true, this is not true. Let me use discernment here. That is not possible when you're a child because you're in a theta brainwave. You're in a hypnosis brainwave. When I reprogrammed my subconscious mind, when I discovered this and really went all in on this and changed the beliefs that I held deep within, the deep beliefs of not being good enough, hiding, having to hide, being afraid to show up in my authentic light, bold, courageous, hiding, playing small, deep unworthiness, deep seeking validation from the outside reality, all these subconscious automatic ways of being that I wasn't aware of. I didn't know that deep down inside, I felt unworthy. Deep down inside, I had this abandonment wound. I was hiding. I was playing small. I was completely subconscious to all of this. And I just thought that I just wasn't good enough. That's what I thought. I just came up with this idea, the reason why they can do their purpose work and thrive and make all this money doing what they love and experience freedom and really make an impact, make a difference, be of service, is because they're better than me. That was the idea that I came up with, because I just couldn't figure this out. I couldn't understand why, when I tried to do my purpose work, when I tried to do something I loved, it never worked out for me. It never worked out. It was always skewed. Something would happen. I wouldn't make any money with it. It wouldn't take off. And then I would start like self-sabotaging. Then I would start procrastinating. Then I would start hiding. And then I would go get, I always had a real job. I always had a regular job. And it was like I was hanging on to that job for safety. I was hanging on to that job for security, because I knew that if I just showed up, I would constantly get paid. So it was me clinging, hanging on to the 3D world, to this job that I didn't like, this job that didn't light my heart on fire, make my soul sing, because it was a false sense of safety. It was a false sense of security, because in my mind I was thinking, well, at least I'll be safe, because I know that there's a paycheck coming. So it wasn't until I reprogrammed my subconscious mind, I reprogrammed all the beliefs that I took in when I was a kid, 0 to 7. And these beliefs were subconscious. I didn't know that I had these deep-seated beliefs. I didn't know that deep down inside, I had the abandonment wound. I had the unworthiness. I had the not lovable. I had the hiding, right? And there's layers to this. There's layers to this work. There's layers to worthiness. There's layers to being lovable. There's layers to good enough, exactly as you are in this moment. There's layers to self-love, self-acceptance. And this is a journey, a never-ending journey. You'll be on this journey for the rest of your life, going deeper into the self, going deeper into self-love, self-acceptance. I'm lovable as I am in this moment. Going deeper layers of that, deeper layers. It's infinite. It's infinite. You can experience infinite self-love. You can experience infinite self-acceptance. You can experience infinite worthiness, infinite lovable, infinite gratitude. So it's working with the subconscious mind, working with the inner child, and reprogramming these beliefs, reprogramming these deep emotional layers within the nervous system, within the body. And what happens is when you start doing this, when you start really rewiring your brain, reprogramming your body, changing the way you think automatically, not trying to think differently, not trying to think positive, not trying to replace a money is hard with money is easy. There's no trying in this work. There's no trying in this work. It's either you've done the work, you've gotten into theta, so you've slowed the brain waves down, you've gotten into a state of hypnosis. How do we do that? By focusing on the breath, going into brain and heart coherence. So 7-second inhale through the heart to the brain, 7-second exhale, focusing, sensing the breath, focusing on the space in between words, sensing the aliveness in the body. And you bring yourself into a state of hypnosis, theta, and meditation. And how I do it, there's many ways to do this. How I do it is I visualize my future self. So I see myself in my purpose work. And then I focus on the feeling. So I combine the crystal clear intention with the elevated emotion, and I focus on the feeling, and I start inhaling that feeling. I start inhaling that frequency, because reality, which is, it's not, right? It's all a hologram. So the hologram is subtle vibration. The hologram is subtle vibration. What hologram you're getting right now, what timeline you're getting right now out of the infinite timelines in this now moment, is the timeline that you resonate with, the timeline that you are conscious and aware of. So in order for me to start tuning into another timeline, rewiring my brain to think future self thoughts, reprogramming my body to feel as if I'm already my future self, reprogramming my subconscious mind body, rewiring these beliefs, I must be able to get into a state of theta, hypnosis, and I must be able to sense and feel. So you've got to focus on the feeling more, right? Neville Goddard, the feeling is the secret. So there, in your meditations, you must shift to more focus on the feeling. That's the secret, right? Neville Goddard. What does Neville Goddard teach? The feeling is the secret. He has a whole book on this. The feeling is the secret. He has one whole book on this. And I start inhaling through my heart, because the heart is the portal. Your heart is the portal to any timeline, to any dimension, to the inner child. Your heart is the portal. You are a multi-dimensional being living a multi-dimensional life. How do you access those dimensions? Altered states of consciousness and accessing the intelligence of your heart. That's how you do it. Your heart is a brain. It's much different than the analytical mind. It doesn't chatter to you. It doesn't talk to you all day. It doesn't have this narrative, this constant narrative. The heart is a knowing, a deep wisdom, a stillness. And it's accessing this stillness, this wisdom, this love, joy, gratitude So breathing in these frequencies, breathing in these feelings as you're in a state of hypnosis, theta. You can do this in a gamma brainwave as well. It's got to be an altered state of consciousness, otherwise you're not going to see the results, because we have to get past the analytical mind, right? We've got to get into the subconscious mind. We've got to reprogram the subconscious mind, beliefs, emotions. Now, the interesting thing about the subconscious mind, and the interesting thing about you being a kid, is because there's not an analytical mind when you're a child, right? There's the neocortex is not fully developed, so the analytical processes are not there. It's all about feelings when you're a kid. Feelings, emotions, feelings. And I love how Neville Goddard says, you must return like a child again. You must return as a child again. So when you're doing this, when you're reprogramming, rewiring your subconscious mind body, you're returning as a child again. How did you feel when you were a child and you were riding your bike? Type it in the chat. How did you feel when you were a child and you were digging in the dirt? And you had your shovel, you had your bucket, you were digging in the dirt, you were making mud pies. How did you feel? Type it in the chat. Gratitude, ecstasy, bliss, joy, enthusiasm. Yes, Amanda says alive. Yes. Esberine says free. Yes. Kane says creative, fun. Anuka says I felt joyful as a child. Yes. Exactly. Free. Mary says free. Well, guess what? When you're in theta, when you're in your meditation, these are the feelings that you must feel when you're in a theta, gamma brainwave. And you must literally inhale these feelings: freedom, love, bliss. Return as a child again. Return as a child again. Neville Goddard. And you're inhaling these feelings and you're amplifying it with each inhale. And you're going to have to work with your body. You're going to have to work with your heart, because if I've been practicing the opposite for 30 plus years, because life has hit me, life has run me over, I've become an adult, right? I've lived in anxiety, I've lived in stress, overwhelm, paying the bills, taking care of family, this job to that job, all of life, right? And I've been practicing the opposite for 30 plus years, and all of a sudden I need to sit down and rewire my subconscious mind by becoming like a child again in a theta brainwave, and feel extreme amounts of joy, feel extreme amounts of bliss, feel extreme amounts of freedom. You're going to have to work with your body. You're going to have to work with your heart and amplify with your intention, with your awareness, with your imagination, and amplify and work to open that heart, work with your nervous system, work with your breath, and little by little you're going to start chiseling away the layers of the past, the emotions of the past, all that past conditioning that you've been holding inside of you for years. And eventually what will happen here, if you stay consistent, you practice every day, and I recommend doing this 3 times a day, sitting in meditation at least 3 times a day, even if it's just for 10, 15 minutes, 3 times a day. It's that consistency, it's that repetition that changes the brain and reprograms the subconscious mind. So a lot of people will sit in meditation, and this does work. There's something to this, sitting in meditation and just affirming what you do want to believe. So money comes easily, life is easy, I am healthy. Yes. Don't forget the second part to this. The second part that most people have a challenge here with, and this is what makes it or doesn't, in my opinion. The ability to access the emotion. The ability to access the emotion when, just like as if you were a kid, right? So when you're a kid and you're sitting in the dirt and you're making your mud pies and you're shoveling and you're playing and you're in bliss, you're in ecstasy, you're in joy, complete freedom, you must have the ability to return back to that state. You've got to feel it so much that the hair on your skin stands up. That's how much you have to feel it. That's how much bliss you must feel. That's how much freedom you must feel. That's how much ecstasy you must feel. Now, when you were a kid, it was easy. When you were a kid, you were just bliss, ecstasy on your bike, and it was the time of your life on your bike, playing hopscotch, the jump rope, whatever it was. It was easy, it was simple, it was fun. What makes it hard today? What makes it challenging today? It's carrying, it's all this programming, it's this conditioning of the 3D world, this baggage that you've been carrying for the last 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years, however long it is. So we've got to go layer by layer. We've got to chisel away the old baggage, the old emotions, the layers. Go deeper into theta, gamma, by sensing, feeling the breath, the aliveness, focusing on the space in between the words, letting go, deeper layers of surrender. And at the same time, you're holding that crystal clear intention and you're amplifying, milking, elevating the emotions of the inner child, of when you were 5 and you were in extreme bliss, gratitude, joy, love. And you're reprogramming, you're reconditioning, you're expanding your nervous system, your subconscious mind, the inner child. And when this is done, you're consistent. You make this a lifestyle change. This is just who you are now. You do this every day, 3 times a day minimum. You naturally start showing up in your purpose work. You stop hiding. You stop playing small. You stop procrastinating. Because that way of being is no longer inside of you. You're resonating with a different version of you that already exists in this now moment. You're resonating with the version of you that's courageous, that's fun, that's adventurous, that's free, that's blissful. Now, what version of you is that? Type it in the chat. What version of you is that? What version of you is fun, adventurous, courageous, bold, excited? What version of you is that? Type it in the chat. That is the inner child. That is the inner child. So here's the great paradox here. This is the great paradox to this. when you start doing this practice and you refine and master this practice, and you sincerely show up to get better at this every time you do it, so you're sincerely getting better, right? So you're not just doing it to check it off your to-do list. You're sincerely showing up to connect to a deeper part of you. You're sincerely showing up to connect to something greater than you. You're sincerely showing up to connect, to open up more, to feel more elevated emotions, more love, gratitude, bliss. It's sincere. And you refine, you master this practice. What starts to happen here is you actually start returning back to the inner child. You start returning back to your authentic self. Because who's your authentic self? Who's your authentic self? Who was courageous? Who was fun? Who was grateful? Who was full of bliss? Who was ready for anything, anytime? Who was that? That was your inner child. That was you when you were 5 and you were on your bike and you were having fun and you were playing. That's the inner child. So the paradox is that your future self is your inner child. That's the great paradox, is your future self is your inner child. So it's a returning back, it's a coming home, it's a unlearning, unremembering, deconditioning of all the stuff, all the programs, all the conditioning, all the societal stuff that you've attached to. So it's detaching, unlearning, unconditioning, deprogramming, and it's a returning back to your authentic self, which is your inner child. It's becoming as a child again and living your life as the inner child. And it's the inner child that will lead you, guide you, take you to your deepest heart's desires. It's the inner child that will go and start that purpose work because they're the adventurous ones. They're the courageous ones. They're the excited ones, the loving ones. It's the inner child that is magnetic, that knows what they want, isn't wobbling, isn't wondering, they command it. It's the inner child who commands it. They know what they want. They know they're worthy. They know it's showing up. They know they're going to get it. Lariggs says, when I dance. Yes, exactly. If you had everything you ever wanted right now in this moment, that's right, you would be dancing. Exactly, you'd be dancing. So the future self isn't something out there. The future self isn't becoming somebody. The future self, you embodying your future self, the self who has the purpose work, who's thriving in your purpose work, who's showing up in your purpose work, who's serving others, having impact, leaving a legacy. The self who's healed, who has the strong, healed, energized body. The self who has the lover, the relationship, the family, the passion in the relationship, the spark in the relationship. The self who is traveling, who's experiencing the world, who's following your heart, is your inner child. That's who your future self is. It's your inner child. It's returning as a child again and allowing the inner child to lead, allowing the inner child to show up, allowing the inner child to come out and be fully in this now moment. No more protective personality, no more the ego, because the ego is the protective personality, right? That's the ego. So the ego tries to, its job is to protect you. Its job is to protect you from abandonment, protect you from rejection, protect you from loss, protect you from failure, protect you from fill in the blank. So it's a false sense of protection. It's a false sense of security. It's the analytical mind. It's the thinking mind. It's the voice in the head. It's the chatter. And when we embody these practices, do these practices, work with our heart, work with the energy of the inner child in a theta brainwave, in a hypnosis brainwave, in a gamma brainwave, in a state of meditation, and you start embodying that energy of the inner child, you start reprogramming your subconscious mind, and you start becoming that version of self because you've deprogrammed, you've deconditioned, you've healed, whatever was picked up has fallen off, whatever wounds, whatever trauma, whatever you've experienced, the past is no longer being carried inside of you. You're no longer carrying the past. You're no longer showing up as the past. You're now showing up as this love, this gratitude, adventure, curiosity, fun, spontaneity. You're living in the unknown. You're showing up as the inner child, your heart. Now the ego is in the backseat to the heart. Now the ego is the servant to the heart. And the ego becomes a tool to the heart. It's no longer leading. It's no longer in charge. It's no longer dominating. It's no longer controlling. So we just opened up the pre-sale for Healer. So if you are you're the person who's like, you know what, Andrea, let's go. I'm in. I'm all in. Let's go. I'm ready to master this. I'm ready to refine this. I'm ready to show up as that higher version of me, the version of me who's courageous, who's confident, who is excited, who's grateful, who's full of love. And because I'm showing up as that version of me, I know in every cell of my body that my purpose work will take off, that I'll attract the lover, that my body will heal. My body will heal, my mind will heal, my emotions will heal. And if I can heal myself, which you can, then you can heal others, because we're all connected. We're all the same energy. We're all connected. We're just at different frequencies, but there is no separation. And you're ready to heal and heal others. Healer is for you. We're in the pre-sale right now. It's $333 for the pre-sale. Check out my stories for more info. So you can do that by clicking on my profile picture on Instagram. Click on my profile picture on Instagram. And if you have any questions, you can message me. Thank you for showing up today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
That was absolutely amazing, my love. And I owe you my deep apologies.